All right, guys, what's going on? Peace, power, and profit to everyone. It's a little early right now in terms of a few people may trying to trickle in here and there late on the day. Again, we are in the power hour session of the markets. What a day, right? What a day. We kind of all set in motion over the weekend, through various conversations that we were somewhat expecting the market to do just what it did today. Again, it's always an educated guess or speculative idea, but when you have a scenario like we have with this coronavirus being a major headwind to equity markets, it's pretty much almost coming to this think that this thing is, going to have its way with equity markets. And that's despite the Federal Reserve cutting rates a full basis point. I'm pretty sure everybody's already got, has already gotten that information at this point. They're trying to, ingest and take it all in. Exactly what does that mean? What does that mean for as equity stocks and things of that nature? Today, you're getting more so Wall Street having the, I would say the audacity, as if they didn't know this last week that it was going to happen actually, but having the audacity to sell off the market even more, using it as an excuse to say that that emergency rate cut stoked more fear, in essence, to how serious the coronavirus epidemic, or pandemic is, it pretty much really is. And so what do you have? Again, you have hopeful retail traders that were excited to jump into the market the last 30 minutes of the market on the back end of Trump going live before the, pretty much the entire world, saying that they're going to declare a national emergency, right? A national emergency, enacting parts of the Stafford plan, giving somewhat reassurance to somewhat American citizens that they were finally going to get ahead, or try to get ahead of this coronavirus issue. Rolling out somewhat of a detailed plan that they're going to start, opening up drive-through testing stations through the various, private sector or public traded companies, obviously through Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, utilizing them as a hub to help people become a little bit more, reassured that they can get tested. Right? We're going to implement all these things right away. Right? Now, mind you, again, 2 weeks ago, it was already set in motion that the White House said that they had this coronavirus thing contained. They said that pretty much that they were set, in essence, that if it really got out of hand, that the CDC and the NIH was going to be all over top, pretty much on top of it. Also, that they had the necessary testing kits to make sure that they can test, each individual that needed to get tested. Right? I would say from that point, a week later, again, we had our vice president saying that, hey, we have over millions of kits ready to be, on standby to test people if necessary. So there's no need to worry, no need to panic. Everything is good to go. Hey, let's just, see how this thing unfolds over the next, again, few days or so. All right. So what a wild, I would say, chain of events that has happened literally over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, where we've seen, again, equity markets now plummet over 30%. Over 30% in about 3 weeks. And again, it took, all of 2019 for the markets to gain at least 26% on an annual basis. And so again, we're faced with the idea, especially as traders and or investors, how do we position ourselves in a moment like this? Right? How do we set, the right trades in motion? Or do we even just, fold our hands and sit on the sidelines until some of this, this coronavirus fears, spreads across the country, give us an adequate number of what it may look like for us, a total carnage, for lack of better terminology. And then from there, decide whether or not we should come back into the market. Right? That's the $1 million questions. Even more so for a lot of people that's still trying to trade margin in a moment like this. which is just wreaking havoc on a lot of their accounts, again, you have to stop and ask yourself, is it really worth it just to be trying to play, pretty much double dutch with flaming ropes of fire with razor blades attached to them in this kind of climate? Because that's literally what you're playing if you're in the margin account, again, feeling very confident. Again, it's not political in that perspective, but feeling really confident in what you're hearing out of the White House, and also these public, institutions and stuff like that on a government level, like the CDC and the NIH. Well, it's easy to say that they're doing the best they can, but they still gave you the same the same reassurance again 3 weeks ago that they was already on top of this. They had all the test kits that they needed, and everything was going to be fine, right? And so at the end of the day, turns out none of that stuff was true. And I'm not just saying that because it's easy to take the swipes at the administration at this, but again, we're going based upon whatever they're feeding us. So when most people go to get their information in terms of how they should react, be proactive or whatever the case on account of this coronavirus, you go to your government officials, point blank period. End of discussion. They should be running like public announcement, like emergency public announcements all over regular TV. I'm not too sure if they did or they didn't. I don't have cable, right? But those things should have been blasted all over TV. The same way they used to back in the old days when they stop it and make the little beeping sign, beep, beep, beep. We're not implementing this. You need to do this in case you have the coronavirus. If anybody's seen that on their TV, please let me know. I don't have cable, so I don't know, as far as public broadcast and stuff like that. But if you haven't been seeing any of that, then chances are, again, that goes back to the idea that some of this stuff just been minimized to the degree where they're not necessarily giving you the 100% truth about what's going on, right? All right, what's going on over Chris? What's going on over Marquis? Sorry, guys, I'm a little late. Y'all know me, I'll be going in and forget to even check the back chat. All right, but again,
good peace, fam.
What's going on, guys? So again, just putting it in the context, man. We're here again. Trying to make sense of this, trying to make sure that we can still, find ways in the market to still be, make some money out of it. Again, right now we know the energy is definitely still to the downside. Something that we predicted literally, to the T over the past 3 or 4 live streams we've been doing. We've been calling this opportunity where, hey, don't be too quick to try to play these upside bounce, right? They're just pretty much dead cat bounces or dead cat bounces and things of that nature where you have a little, retrace from extreme oversold scenarios when the market is snapping back, maybe 2-3% off a 7-8% drop. So again, in these moments, you say, well, what do I do? Is it more, profitable to trade the 2 to 3% bounce to the upside, or to stay short in the market where you have more, energy at your back in terms of how the market's still going to fold over, because there's no certainty, again, in place to make investors feel comfortable just come to the market with a ton of money. If you think different, then again, you must have a really, really good strategy intact. And again, I applaud you if you're still able to make money, substantial money, going long right now in certain positions. I'm speaking strictly to the traders here, not long-term investors. I understand you can't add on your long-term position, right? Because the rule of thumb is that anytime an asset drops well over 20-30%, that in itself tells you that you should add to that position. It doesn't necessarily mean go all in. It says you could add to that position. That's just based upon the normalcy of what we look at as far as long-term investors, right? So again, even in moments like that, you still got to ask yourself, at the time, I would say the time frame and these things are happening, is it really worth it even at this point? And let's say a week ago, at that point, to have added on that position at 20-30%, decline in their stocks, in those particular stocks, right? To me, it just didn't make any sense. Again, that doesn't necessarily make me some kind of, super saiyan type of, market saver or whatever you want to call them. But I'm just saying, guys, some of this stuff is just pretty much very, obvious at this point where the market is headed, right? And again, today was pretty much a telltale signal that there's still more fear surrounding equity markets financial markets, whatever, then there is, people feeling confident that we're finally starting to at least put some kind of wheels in motion to try to, counteract this coronavirus. But those are two different separate scenarios, right? You're talking about physical health, fear, anxiety, pressure, things of that nature, and the idea that these companies, all of a sudden just going to, wake up tomorrow and go back to where they was before, just because, we got, a place where you can go get tested now for the coronavirus some 3 weeks later, right? When they were telling that you could have got it tested, again, some, 3 weeks before, right? So again, we back where the pendulum is swinging, again, back against the side of the bulls, right? To the point where the risk is definitely to the upside. No matter how you look at this market, the risk is definitely to the upside. So you're playing, what they call a double dutch with flaming ropes with razor blades attached to them, right? Good luck getting inside of those ropes, right? And so, again, I'm not just trying to, what they say, be a Debbie Downer in terms of the overall market, but I do know one thing, and that's to be, if you are a person who basically trades one way in the market, obviously as a bullish trader who's just learning, and you can only go long, well, the type of stocks that are necessarily bringing value or brought value at a point where they were just tearing up to the upside, some of those stocks are not necessarily the first things you want to run to. Not right now, I don't think, just me personally, right? Unless you find that one outlier that gives you that kind of, potential profit value, then so forth, then go for it, go for it, right? But if not, I would say just be a little patient here, or take your time, analyze the market in a way where, again, if it's down 20% at this point, it could easily be down another 15 to 20% from there. Sounds like a lot, and it sounds, scary for people that got long-term position. But I would say this, until we start seeing a real definitive rounded bottom or real solid support value in the S&P 500, and right now we still haven't really went down and tested the overall lows that everybody really waiting to see. That's around that 235 on a consistent, level during the intraday session. We hit it during the futures market, but we need to see it during intraday session, right? Or at least close to it, right? And so today we got close, where we hit around about 238, around about 237.50 to be exact. And then instantly when they hit 237.50, well, what happened? Income, federal repo market. Again, they're throwing everything they got at this market to save it. I mean, the kitchen sink, you name it. They're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, everything this time. They ain't playing around, right? They're trying to do what they can. Again, you can't blame them, right? Because this is how they're getting, they're being measured up against the entire world, as far as their ability to, number one, be ahead of these kind of scenarios when they come up, but also still run a tight ship when it comes to handling the our overall economy in a place where people feel confident, right, to park their money into our markets. Now, again, we know that everybody else's market is not necessarily the best too. We know China's barely hanging on. It's actually seem to be doing better than our markets, and they're on the back end of this coronavirus issue somewhat. It seems like all the worst of the carnage from the coronavirus has pretty much ravaged their communities. Right, they're on the back end of this thing, right? But still, there's such a symbiotic relationship between China's market and ours in terms, export, import, things of that nature, where it could still be effective drag on their markets the same way, even though they're on the back end of this coronavirus pandemic. So again, with that being said, I would love to hear you guys' opinions, see what you guys are thinking about this market. What are you trading today? What do you think about trading from a long-term position or a short-term position? I'm curious to know what you guys are trading, right? Because in moments like this, you really need other people, again, in some cases, really help you, get through these moments, right? Because you don't want to, not, catch every ideal of thought that may be, of interest to you in terms of where you may want to take a trade, right? And things of that nature, all right? So it's important to, again, have that village mentality, like I'm always saying, get with other people who's thinking just like you, right? And then help each other, right? Help each other find money in moments like this, right? And again, that's what it should be all about, in my opinion, right? utilizing the value of, again, a great think tank to find money in the markets. And so I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were, again, trading, a myriad of different stocks. I can only imagine what y'all been trading, right? We had, we definitely got the penny stocks popping, right? Because we already know the first flight to safety, in some cases, is to run to stocks, again, that have, any kind of, I would say, ties to the ideal of a coronavirus treatment or any kind of preventive value in terms of a vaccine or medication, right? So right now, Trump is talking. So real quick, let me run straight over to Trump real quick, guys. Sorry.
The virus. We did this today. This was done by a lot of very talented people, some of whom are standing with me, and that's available. And Dr. Birx will be speaking about that in just a few minutes. It's important for the young and healthy people to understand that while they may experience milder symptoms, they can easily spread this virus, and they will spread it indeed, putting countless others in harm's way. We especially worry about our senior citizens. The White House Task Force meets every day and continually updates guidelines based on the fast evolving situation that this has become all over the world. It's all over the world. It's incredible what's happened in such a short period of time. On the guidelines of the task force, the new modeling conducted by Dr. Birx and our consultation with governors, we've made the decision to further toughen the guidelines and blunt the infection now. We'd much rather be ahead of the curve than behind it, and that's what we are. Therefore, my administration is recommending that all Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible.
Here it is.
Avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people.
We called it.
Avoid discretionary travel, and avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and public food courts. If everyone makes this change or these critical changes and sacrifices now, we will rally together as one nation, and we will defeat the virus, and we're going to have a big celebration all together. With several weeks of focused action, we can turn the corner and turn it quickly. A lot of progress has been made. I'm also pleased to report today that a vaccine candidate has begun the phase 1 clinical trial. This is one of the fastest vaccine development launches in history. Not even close. We're also racing to develop antiviral therapies and other treatments, and we've had some promising results, early results, but promising, to reduce the severity and the duration of the symptoms. And I have to say that our government is prepared to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, we're doing. We're doing it in every way. And with that, I'd like to just introduce Dr. Birx, who's going to discuss some of the things that we strongly recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think you know over the last months, we've taken very bold action to stop the virus from coming to our shores. And because of that, we gained time to really get together and understand the progress across the globe of what has worked and what hasn't worked. We now need to appeal to every single American so that they can have their role in stopping the spread of this virus. We've talked about things before about washing your hands, but we really want to focus on, if you are sick, no matter who you are, please stay home. If someone in your household is diagnosed with this virus, the entire household should quarantine in the house to prevent spread of the virus to others. The reason we're taking these strong and bold steps is because we know there is virus spread before you develop symptoms. And then we know that there's a large group, we don't know the precise percent yet, that actually is asymptomatic or has such mild cases that they continue to spread the virus. If your children are sick, please keep them home. Now, to our older population or those with pre-existing medical conditions, everyone in the household needs to focus on protecting them. Everyone in the household. I want to speak particularly to our largest generation now, our millennials. I have the mom of 2 wonderful millennial young women who are bright and hardworking, and I will tell you what I told to them. They are the core group that will stop this virus. They are the group that communicates successfully independent of picking up a phone. They intuitively know how to contact each other without being in large social gatherings. We're asking all of them to hold their gatherings to under 10 people, not just in bars and restaurants, but in homes. We really want people to be separated at this time, to be able to address this virus comprehensively that we cannot see, for which we don't have a vaccine or a therapeutic. The only thing we have right now is the amazing ingenuity and compassion of the American people. We're appealing to all Americans to take these steps, to protect each other and to ensure that the virus doesn't spread. These guidelines are very specific, they're very detailed. They will only work if every American takes this together to heart and responds as one nation and one people to stop the spread of this virus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Burks. So just to connect with what I mentioned to you in previous discussions in this room, and Dr. Burks said it very well, that in order to be able to contain and curtail this epidemic to not reach its maximum capability, we have a two-pillar approach, one of which I believe has been very effective in preventing the substantial seeding, and namely the travel restrictions that we've discussed many times in this room. The other, equally, if not more important, is when you have infection in your own country, which we do. And, I could read the numbers, but they're really essentially what we've seen yesterday, incremental increases, both globally as well as in the United States, with the curve doing that. So therefore, the kinds of things that we do are containment and mitigation. What we're mentioning now, the guidelines, when you look at them carefully, I believe if the people in the United States take them seriously, because they were based on some rather serious consideration back and forth, some may look at them and say they're going to be really inconvenient for people. Some will look and say, well, maybe we've gone a little bit too far. They were well thought out. And the thing that I want to re-emphasize, and I'll say it over and over again, when you're dealing with an emerging infectious diseases outbreak, you are always behind where you think you are if you think that today reflects where you really are. That's not word speak. It means if you think you're here, you're really here because you're only getting the results. Therefore, it will always seem that the best way to address it would to be doing something that looks like it might be an overreaction. It isn't an overreaction. It's a reaction that we feel is commensurate, which is actually going on in reality. So take a look at the guidelines, read them carefully, and we hope that the people of the United States will take them very seriously, because they will fail if people don't adhere to them. We have to have, as a whole country, cooperate and collaborate to make sure these get done. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, a lot of people are concerned about how long all of this might last. Do you have any kind of estimate that if Americans really were to band together and do what the White House is suggesting, how quickly you could turn this corner?
My favorite question, I ask it all the time. How many times, Anthony? I think I ask him that question every day, and I speak to Deborah, I speak to a lot of them. I get the opinion. So it seems to me that if we do a really good job, we'll not only hold the death down to a level that is much lower than the other way, had we not done a good job. But people are talking about July, August, something like that. So it could be right in that period of time where I say it washes through. Other people don't like that term, but where it washes through.
So is this the new normal until the height of the summer?
We'll see what happens, but they think August, could be July, could be longer than that. But I've asked that question many, many times. Yes.
That being said, Mr. President, Americans today and looking forward are living with so much anxiety and so much fear, facing uncertainty right now. I'm curious, how are you talking to your own family about this? How are you talking to your youngest son? Do you empathize with this sense of anxiety? People are really scared.
Yeah. No, I think they are very scared. I think they see that we're doing a very professional job. We've been working with the governors and frankly, the mayors, local government at every level. We have FEMA totally involved. FEMA has been, usually we see FEMA for the hurricanes and the tornadoes. Now we have FEMA involved in this. They've been doing a fantastic job locally, working with people that they know because they work, like as an example, in California, in the state of Washington. They work with them a lot on other things, and they're very familiar, so they're working on it. What you can do, and all you can do, is professional, totally competent. We have the best people in the world. We have really the greatest experts in the world. And someday soon, hopefully it'll end and we'll be back to where it was. But this came up, it came up so suddenly. You were surprised. We were all surprised. We heard about it. We heard about reports from China that something was happening, and all of a sudden, we did make a good decision. We closed our borders to China very quickly, very rapidly. That was a otherwise we'd be in a very, as Tony has said numerous times, we'd be in a very bad position, much worse than we would be right now. You look at what's happening in other countries. Italy's having a very hard time. But I think that what we do, and I've spoken actually with my son, he says, "How bad is this?" It's bad. It's bad. But we're going to be hopefully a best case, not a worst case, and that's what we're working for. Yes.
If you can clear up some confusion on two key fronts. One is about your own test. The other is about containment efforts. Is the administration considering more aggressive containment options, like a quarantine, a national curfew?
Well, we have that very much. Yeah, we have that very much, and we've been pretty aggressive. We were early with Europe, but we were very, very early with China and other places, and fortunately we were. And as far as containment here, we're coming out with strong suggestions. And, it's becoming a little bit automatic. You look at people, they're not doing certain things. For instance, they're obviously not, I wouldn't say the restaurant business is booming, and bars and grills and all. People are self-containing to a large extent. We look forward to the day when we can get back to normal.
To be specific, are you considering instituting a nationwide lockdown, a nationwide quarantine? The NSC knocked that down, but there's still some questions about how it all.
At this point, not nationwide, but there are some places in our nation that are not very affected at all. But we may look at certain areas, certain hotspots, as they call them. We'll be looking at that, but at this moment, no, we're not.
The second question is: you said you had your coronavirus test Friday night. The White House doctor's office put out a statement around midnight Friday saying that no test was indicated. So when exactly was your test administered?
Well, I had my test. It was late Friday night, and the reason I did it was because I had no symptoms whatsoever. So the doctor said, "You have no symptoms, so we don't see any reason." But when I did the press conference on Friday, everybody was going crazy. Did you do the test? Did you do the test? So very late on Friday night, I did the test, and he may have put out, or the doctor may have put out something I don't know what time the letter went out. Maybe it was put up by somebody else, but the results came back, I believe, the following day, and we tested negative.
But the question is, how could the White House doctor's office say a test wasn't indicated, implying you hadn't had one when in fact you had?
Well, I told them that, and I went totally by what they said, the doctors, more than one. They said you don't have any of the symptoms. They checked what you're supposed to check, and that I didn't have symptoms. But I did a test late on Friday night, and it came back probably 24 hours later or something. They sent it to the labs, came back later. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you had a teleconference with the nation's governors today.
Yeah. And even that teleconference, you told them if they need things like respirators or masks to try to get it on their own. What did you mean by that, and what will the federal government do?
They can get them faster by getting them on their own. In other words, go through a supply chain that they may have, because the governors, during normal times, the governors buy a lot of things, not necessarily through federal government. If they're able to get ventilators, respirators, if they're able to get certain things without having to go through the longer process of federal government. We have stockpiles now where we're ordering tremendous numbers of ventilators, respirators, masks, and they're ordered and they're coming, and we have quite a few at this point. I think, Mike, we have a lot. But if they can get them directly, it's always going to be faster if they can get them directly if they need them. And I've given them authorization to order directly.
They kept popping up Apple of all stocks.
One of the big weaknesses in our healthcare system is surge capacity for medical facilities. And I wanted to ask what precautions, what planning is being done to get China was able to build hospitals in a matter of days. Are you prepared to use the Corps of Engineers or FEMA to start building surge capacity that we may need in a couple of weeks?
Well, first of all, we hope we don't get there, and that's what we're doing, and that's why we're taking a very strict look at this. But we also are looking at areas, and not only looking, we're expanding certain areas. We're taking over buildings that aren't used. We're doing a lot in that regard. We hope we don't have to get there, but we are doing a lot in that regard.
Could you clarify something? These guidelines say stay home if you're sick. Yesterday, the vice president said no one should worry about losing a paycheck if they stay home when they're sick. But the House bill exempts companies of 500 employees or more from the paid sick leave requirement, and that's 54% of the American workplace. Why is it a good idea to only require small businesses to provide paid?
Well, we're looking at that, and we may be expanding that. We are looking at that. We want fairness. We want it for everybody. No, we're looking at that through the Senate, because as you know, the Senate is now digesting that bill. So we may very well be adding something on that. Good question.
Two questions to Mr. President. One, going off of what he was asking, how many ventilators and how many ICU beds do we have right now, and will it be enough?
I could get back to you with that number. We've ordered a lot. We have quite a few, but it may not be enough. And if it's not enough, we will have it by the time we need it. Hopefully, we won't need them.
And you'll give us the exact number.
Yeah, we'll be able to
so
give
far,
you.
they have not given us an exact
We'll
number.
give you. We can give you a number if it's important. We'll give you a number. Go ahead.
And yesterday, you said that this was under tremendous control. Do you want to revisit that statement if we are going to be experiencing this until July or August, 5 more months ahead of
When
where we are
I'm
now?
talking about control, I'm saying we are doing a very good job within the confines of what we're dealing with. We're doing a very good job. There's been a tremendous amount of the way they're working together. They're working hand in hand. I think they're doing really a great job. And from that standpoint, that's what I was referring to. Yes,
You're not saying it's under control, right?
I'm not referring to it, meaning yeah, if you're talking about the virus, no, that's not under control for any place in the world. I think I read, no, I didn't. I was talking about what we're doing is under control, but I'm not talking about the virus. Yes, please.
Stock market took another hit
first
today. Is the U.S. economy heading into a recession?
Well, it may be. We're not thinking in terms of recession. We're thinking in terms of the virus. Once we stop, I think there's a tremendous pent-up demand, both in terms of the stock market and in terms of the economy. And once this goes away, once it goes through and we're done with it, I think you're going to see a tremendous surge.
Are you looking at any domestic travel restrictions? I know that's been on the table before, but is that turning up at all?
We're not really. We hope we don't have to, Steve. We think that hopefully we won't have to do that, but it's certainly something that we talk about every day. We haven't made that decision.
I ask you, doctors and nurses in this country are telling us across the board that they're terrified of this virus, of the fact that they might get it, of the fact that they might take it home to their families. What can you say to assure healthcare providers in this country that the federal government is doing something today to ensure that they get personal protective equipment to protect themselves and their families?
Well, I think the federal government is doing everything that we can possibly do. We made some very good early decisions by keeping people out, by keeping countries out, certain countries where the infection was very immense. I notice a lot of people are talking about South Korea because they've done a good job on one side, but on the other side, tremendous problems at the beginning. They had tremendous problems and great numbers of death. I think that we've done a fantastic job from just about every standpoint. With that being said, you look, no matter where you look, this is something, it's an invisible enemy. And, but we are speaking all the time, not only with the people, but also the professional people, the nurses, the doctors. They have been doing a fantastic job. We are also working very much on getting them the kind of equipment that they need. And for the most part, they're
Okay, I think we lock it up a little bit here. Let's see here.
Maybe I'm curious if there is a recession when.
I don't, number one, determine recession. I just say this, we have an invisible enemy. We have a problem that a month ago nobody ever thought about. Nobody in the, I read about it. I read about many years ago, 1917, 1918. I've seen all of the different problems similar to this that we've had. This is a bad one. This is a very bad one. This is bad in the sense that it's so contagious. It's just so contagious, sort of record-setting type contagion.
But I mean, you said it was just a regular flu.
The young people are,
you said it's nothing to be
do
worried
very well,
about.
and healthy people do very well. Very, very bad for older people, especially older people with problems. My focus is really on getting rid of this problem, this virus problem. Once we do that, everything else is going to fall into place. Yes, please.
A lot of rumors last night that you were going to put in a national curfew or some kind of,
I've been watching.
Right, exactly. Me too. Your people were saying this is a foreign disinformation campaign. Is that what's going on? Are people messing with us on the internet?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that I can't tell you if they are or not. I think a lot of the media actually has been very fair. I think people are pulling together on this. I really think the media has been very fair. I think it could be that you have some foreign groups that are playing games, but it doesn't matter. We haven't really determined to do that at all. And hopefully we won't have to. That's a very big step. It's a step we can take, but we have not decided to do it. Jennifer, go.
Mr. President, two things, one on airlines and one on Jeff Bezos. Can you talk a little bit specifically about what you'd like to do to help the airlines, first of all? And then second of all, we heard that Jeff Bezos has been in contact with the White House daily. Can you say what he's been asking for or proposing?
Well, I've heard that's true. I don't know that for a fact, but I know that some of my people have, as I understand it, been dealing with them or with him. And that's nice. We've had tremendous support from a lot of people that can help. And I believe he was one of them. As far as the airlines are concerned, the airlines, we're going to back the airlines 100%. Not their fault. It's nobody's fault unless you go to the original source. But it's nobody's fault. And we're going to be in a position to help the airlines very much. We've told the airlines we're going to help them.
Well,
But we're going to be helping. We're going to be backstopping the airlines. We're going to be helping them very much. It's very important.
What do you say about the stock market, sir?
$25 billion for the passenger carriers and $4 billion for cargo.
We're going to be looking at it very strongly. We have to back the airlines. It's not their fault. In fact, they were having a record season. Everybody was. They were having record seasons, and then this came out, and it came out from nowhere. So not their fault, but we're going to be backing the airline. Yeah.
The stocks continue to fall today. Will the White House support negative rates?
Best thing I can do for the stock market is we have to get through this crisis. That's what I can do. That's the best thing we can do. That's what I think about. Once this virus is gone, I think you're going to have a stock market like nobody's ever seen before.
People be voting tomorrow, Mr. President?
Mr. President, the other day,
He'll be back in a second. He'll be back in a second.
I think the question that I think maybe John asked about until July, the guidelines are a 15-day trial guideline to be reconsidering. It isn't that these guidelines are now going to be in effect until July. What the president was saying is that the trajectory of the outbreak may go till then. Make sure we don't think that these is solid in stone till July. Yeah.
That will be the outside number. Yeah.
Mr. President, you've been criticized.
Hold on 1 second, please. Go ahead.
Follow-up, Senate Republicans, do you want Senate Republicans to change the package that passed the House last week? Even though you
I think that may make it even better. Look, they're working together very well with the House. They're working very much in unison, like the question before. They're working to only enhance it and make it better and make it fair for everybody. And that's what we're looking to do. So we may go back and forth with the House a little bit, but both will be in a very positive fashion. Please.
Yeah, Mr. President, these new guidelines say avoid social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people. The CDC's recommendations yesterday were for people to avoid gatherings of more than 50 people. What's evolved in you and your team's thinking in just the past 24 hours? And also, what exactly do you need to see in a stimulus?
Well, let me just have the professionals answer that. Would you like to do that?
Great. Thank you, and thank you for that question. So we have been working on models day and night around the globe to really predict, because some countries in our very early stage, like the United States, we've been working with groups in the United Kingdom. So we had new information coming out from a model, and what had the biggest impact in the model is social distancing, small groups, not going in public in large groups. But the most important thing was if one person in the household became infected, the whole household self-quarantine for 14 days, because that stops 100% of the transmission outside of the household. And as we talked about early on, it's silent. We had another silent epidemic, HIV. And I just want to recognize the HIV epidemic was solved by the community, the HIV advocates and activists who stood up when no one was listening and got everyone's attention. We're asking that same sense of community to come together and stand up against this virus. And if everybody in America does what we ask for over the next 15 days, we will see a dramatic difference, and we won't have to worry about the ventilators, and we won't have to worry about the ICU beds, because we won't have our elderly and our people at the greatest risk having to be hospitalized.
Dr. Burks, can we ask you to comment on the
Dr. Go ahead, yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Very productive call today with governors. We talked about the new rollout of testing that we described yesterday, drive-through and community-based testing. And I know how grateful the president is for the efforts that governors are making, and now with the Admiral and the United States Public Health Service, as well as FEMA, we made great progress today in coordinating those efforts. But the other issue that was raised with the president today was personal protective equipment. And the reason I mentioned testing is because one of the recommendations that we have for states is that these remote testing sites make a priority of two groups. One would be people over the age of 65 that have symptoms. We don't want them to go to hospitals or emergency rooms. We want them to go to a remote site in a parking lot or at a isolated community location. But the other category is our healthcare workers. We want to make sure that our healthcare workers have the opportunity to be tested, and using that new high throughput test that the president arranged with our major commercial labs, we'll be able to do that much more expeditiously. So we're putting a real priority on our extraordinary healthcare workers that are at this very hour coming alongside people that are struggling with the coronavirus and people that are concerned that they may have been exposed. The other piece is we're grateful that the legislation passed by the House of Representatives includes liability protection for N95 masks produced by companies like 3M in Minnesota, by Honeywell. Literally tens of millions of masks are produced every year for industrial purposes, for construction. But the health experts say they can be used just as readily to protect healthcare workers from respiratory ailments. 3M and other companies were not able to sell those to hospitals, but the president negotiated with the Democratic leadership of the House and Senate. We've added a provision to the bill that will literally, from one company alone, add another 30 million masks per month back to the marketplace. We're strengthening the supply chain, and healthcare workers around America can be absolutely certain that the president and our entire team are going to continue to put the health of America first, and put first our healthcare workers across this country that are meeting the needs of the people of our country.
Mr. Vice President, how many test kits have been sent out, and how many people can actually be tested?
I think the Admiral can answer that. And you might want to talk about the roving.
So thank you very much for that. As we talked about yesterday, we're really entering a new phase of testing.
Here we go. He asked a simple question.
We were at the
how many test kits do we have?
CDC developed test was only available in public health laboratories in the CDC.
Oh, boy.
Works very well for a few thousand tests per day after it gets running. We're now moving into a phase that the big commercial laboratories with high throughput screening have availability. So as we talked about last week, because of the historic efforts of the FDA, a Roche test, and as the president predicted, a Thermo Fisher test were both produced last week under an emergency use authorization. 1.9 million of those tests will be sequentially into the ecosystem this week. From the information we have right now, 1 million tests are available with all the reagents, everything ready to go, primarily at the reference labs called Quest, LabCorp, and a couple others. Now, it doesn't matter if they're not in your neighborhood, because every day when people get tests, a little white box goes out in front, it gets shipped by an incredible distribution system. The test result and it's electronically reported. So these are available to people nationwide. We expect more and more than 1 million coming on board this week as the reagents come up and as people with the testing capacity validate that in their own hospitals and other places. And in the future, we expect at least 2 million next week and at least 5 million the week thereafter. There are also a whole growth of what's called laboratory determined testing or laboratory derived testing, where individual laboratories, because of the regulatory deregulation of the FDA, can develop their own tests and start using them. So if you're a CLIA certified lab with complexity, you can do that. So the point is, testing is now entering sort of what we normally do in the healthcare system, where big labs in a high throughput basis receive these through normal channels. So that part of it is.
They don't have them.
Do you know how many Americans have actually been tested? Do you have a number?
There is a number. I don't have that number because I've been working on setting up this distribution.
Why you don't have the number?
This is where we are. The state and public health laboratories in the CDC are published every day on the CDC website. The CDC gets feeds from LabCorp and Quest, and they get that on a daily basis. What is not being received right now, and Ambassador Birx is fixing, is that these homegrown tests in highly complex labs don't necessarily get reported in the system. However, as we move forward, particularly in the commercial phase of where we are right now, we expect about 80 to 85% of the tests to flow right into the CDC. We know them. That's not good enough for Ambassador Birx. She wants 100, and we'll work on that.
So I think just to put it a different way, a lot of testing has been going on, and I don't believe anybody's been able to do what we're doing and what we will be doing.
And let me just say that we talked about the drive-through testing yesterday. I want it to be clear to everybody, this is just another tool for states and local public health systems and healthcare systems to use. It's not replacing testing that goes on in a doctor's office or in a hospital, or if you go to your doctor and wants to get tested in that office. This is just another tool that we're helping the states to have. And again, as we talked about, this is modeled on the FEMA-based points of distribution system optimized for testing. We expect this week, we now have gear, people being shipped right now today that will be in over 12 states with multiple sites, many of states having multiple sites, to start augmenting the local capacity and really providing the state and the local people what they need as another way for people to get tested.
So this has never been done before. That's never been done, and certainly not on a level like that. And I will say that I think I can speak for the professionals that if you don't have the symptoms, if your doctor doesn't think you need it, don't get the test. Don't get the test. I think that's very important. Not everybody should run out and get the test, but we're able to handle.
Because you don't have the kits. You say you had it last time.
Mr. President, earlier today, Kelly Cuomo of New York said that he believes that hospital capacity soon will be overwhelmed, and implored you to call on the Army Corps of Engineers to build temporary facilities to house patients. Is that something
we're looking into? It. We've heard that. We've heard it from really two places. There are two places that have specifically, New York being one, and we are looking into it very strongly. Yeah.
Steve, go ahead. Sir, how have you changed your own behavior to take account of this virus? Are you washing your hands more?
Oh, I've always washed my hands a lot. I wash my hands a lot, probably, maybe if anything more, certainly not less. It's not something I want to do every day. I can tell you that. It's it's a little bit of good doctors in the White House, but it's a test. It's a test. It's a medical test. Nothing pleasant about it.
Said that in a tweet that Governor Cuomo should be doing more.
I think he can do more, but I think he can do more. And it's an area of the country that's very hot right now. I think New Rochelle, and a place I know very well. I grew up right near New Rochelle. I think it's an area that has to be tamped down even more. because it's a hotbed, there's no question about it. So I think they can look at doing it, but we're getting along very well. We've had a very, in fact, I noticed he made some statements just now that the relationship with the federal government has been good. The federal government has done everything they've wanted us to do. But we can, I think it's very important that all of the governors get along very well with us and that we get along with the governors. And I think that's happening.
I have the defense secretary and the assistant defense secretary that decided to separate and be in a bubble to avoid the spread of the disease and to protect the chain of command. Is that something you and the vice president should be doing? And has there been any talk about having to have a 25th Amendment?
Well, we haven't thought of it, but I will say this, that we're very careful. We're very careful with being together. Even the people behind me they've been very strongly tested. I've been very strongly tested.
3,000 points, guys. We're down almost 3,000 points.
Vigilant. We have to be vigilant.
Two simple questions for you, Mr. President. Two simple questions for you, Mr. President.
Okay. I don't know if this is a question for you or for Dr. Burke, but Dr. Burke said that it is the millennials who are going to lead us through this, and that now is the time to look out for the older people in our home. Older might be a state of mind, not necessarily an age. So for those millennials of us who have parents who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, what is older? What should we tell them at this point?
Well, if I was Dr. Fauci, I would tell you there's a physiologic age and a numerical age. So older people with pre-existing conditions. And what do we mean by that? Significant heart disease, significant kidney disease, significant lung disease, any immunosuppression, any recent treatment for cancer, any of those pieces in any household. Now, why do I think the millennials are the key? Because they're the ones that are out and about. And they're the most likely to be in social gatherings. And they're the most likely to be the least symptomatic. And I think we've always heard about the greatest generation. We're protecting the greatest generation right now, and the children of the greatest generation. And I think the millennials can help us tremendously by having, plus they need to communicate with each other. Public health people like myself don't always come out with compelling and exciting messages that a 25 to 35-year-old may find interesting and something they will take to heart.
That's the market,
but
guys.
Millennials can speak about how important it is in this moment to protect all of the people. Now, you could be 40 and have a significant medical condition and be a substantial risk. You could be 30 and having come through Hodgkin's disease or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I don't kick a man around his
There are risk groups in every age group.
I'm pretty sure
but the age,
Trump has the
more
bubble guts
millennials
right
now
now.
than
I'm
any
pretty sure
other
you got the
cohort,
bubble guts.
and they can help us at this moment.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. You already talked. Mr. President, the other day you said that you were not responsible for the testing shortfall. Very simple question. Does the buck stop with you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your response to this crisis?
I'd rate it a 10. I think we've done a great job.
What?
And it started with the fact that we kept a very highly infected country, despite all of even the professionals saying, no, it's too early to do that. We were very, very early with respect to China.
What?
And we would have a whole different situation in this country if we didn't do that.
What?
I would rate it I would rate ourselves and the professionals. I think the professionals have done a fantastic job. As far as the testing, you heard the Admiral. I think the testing that we've done, we really took over an obsolete system, or put it maybe in a different way, a system that wasn't meant to do anything like this. We took it over, and we're doing something that's never been done in this country. And I think that we are doing very well. We took the system, we worked with the system we had, and we broke down the system purposely. We broke it down in order to do what we're doing now. And within a short period of time, and even now, we're testing tremendous numbers of people. And ultimately, you're saying it will be what? It will be up to how many people we'll be able to test?
Up to.
We certainly expect with the high throughput testing that's no longer a barrier. The barrier is actually doing a test on a person. And I'm sure
give us a number.
Would inform you. In order to do the test, a healthcare provider
give us a number.
Personal protective equipment, full personal protective equipment, and there's a swab that's put in the back
Give
of the
us
nose,
a number. They
all the
said
way
how
to
to
the
get
back of
tested.
the
It
throat,
said give us a
called the
number. How
nasopharyngeal
many?
swab, which is then put in media. The next person who has to get tested, that healthcare provider has to change all the personal protective equipment.
Oh man,
When you
they
put that
said
in,
these
it's highly
people are
likely a
full
person
of
who
dang
coughs
on
or
crap.
sneezes, so you're at risk. So that's what we're trying to fix now by the mobile platforms, by all the things we're doing,
Liars.
is to enable sort of high through of this swabbing.
We
And
had
we're doing some
millions of kits
technological
last
things
week.
too
Now all
that
of a sudden
might
ain't
be
no kits.
breakthroughs to make it much faster. But we certainly expect that from thousands of people per day, we will be at the tens of thousands of people per day this week, according to those.
Listen to that fool. Man, I'm out of here, bro.
Yeah, normally, but I think when you hear the, this has never been done before in this country.
Bruh,
Back, take a look at some of the
bruh.
things that took place in
People.
9 or 11 or whatever it may have been. They never did. Nobody's ever done anything like
Man,
what we're doing. I
look.
will also say, and
Hold
I
up,
think we
guys.
can
Hold
say
up
that
1 second.
we're also getting this
again, I
ready
know
for
that
the
was
future,
getting
so
good,
that
right?
when we have a
It's
future
like soap
problem,
opera
if
on
and when,
Wall
and
Street,
hopefully
right?
we don't have anything like this,
Soap
but
opera,
if there is, we're
1600
going to be very,
Pennsylvania
starting
Street.
off from a much higher plateau, because we were at a very, very low.
Hold up, let me minimize that for a minute, guys. Let me open up the mic, guys. Come on, guys. Let me hear y'all. Let me hear y'all opinion, guys. What are y'all saying, guys? Let me hear you guys' opinion. Mike, guys.
He is lying.
I can't, again, this ain't me kicking the brain right down, because again, we all are out of being, tested here. This is our livelihoods here.
Right.
Again, we got family members and things of that nature that we are concerned about. And you going to, again, the people who are supposed to be professionals at these kind of realities in terms of how they made literally 3 weeks ago that they were all on top of this. They had lots of stuff stockpiled. They had kits, and all this. Oh, we're going to be fine. It's about contained. It's not even that serious of a virus. It's pretty much like a flu. And so, again, I mean, what are you guys' opinion, guys? I'm curious.
I mean, for them to say you shouldn't get tested, don't get tested and don't get a mask. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like, how do you know whether or not you have it or if you're not tested? Because there's like an incubation period where you could be carrying it. So what he's saying, wait till you full blown sick.
And then again, if you still can't get tested, because the guy came out and said it again, the same thing. Oh, we could be doing the thousands, this week, and hopefully tens of thousands, by next week. Thousands? And there's 360 plus million people in this country. You talking about you can only do 1,000?
Well, they already got thousands of cases in New York.
Right. New York alone is already over 1,000.
Yep.
With again, just to be exact, the death toll and picked up in New York. You already 6 deaths, 954 cases. So again, I know I can't be the only one, who's having these, these moments where I'm like, okay, I know it's codependent towards market value in terms of how people really, I guess I say quantify fear, because their money is now being subjected to whether or not it's safe to be in places where, again, equity markets of all places, where there's, going to be a stagnation of growth. So when people pull out, they're selling, that means that, they rather trust their own devices than, any kind of insurance that they're getting from, again, the commander in chief, saying that he's going to, make this thing right in a way where people feel confident that we'll get ahead of this, so we can start seeing that the market's going to rebound at some point, because we're doing everything in our power to make sure that the American citizens, from the richest down to the poor, is going to be taken care of. And no one's hearing that.
Right.
No one's hearing that. So
yeah, they're not going to say that.
Yet they're telling everybody else, though, literally, again, day over day, oh, it's all good, it's fine, we're good. Again, that was a talking point for the last 2 weeks. More than that, obviously, but again, it's so funny. it's not funny in the essence that the severity. It's funny that he's eating crow right now. He's eating crow literally. All the things he said then, he's turning now. Have to turn around. You can hear it in his voice now. You can hear these you can tell that he's not confident right now.
No, because they don't know. I mean, the numbers are only going to go up until they have enough people for sample, to take samples of, to even begin to make some kind of cure. You have to have enough people. You have to have enough. What do you call that? A sample group, and then other people. Also they build an immunity to it. So it's like it's going to get worse before it reverses. That's my thinking. I mean, look at Europe.
They ain't even got where them test kits at. Where them test kits at?
I don't know. It don't seem like they got any.
But we're the best healthcare system on the planet. We got the best healthcare system on the planet. We got the best first response, CDC, NIH, FEMA, all these Homeland Security. We got the best on the planet.
Yeah, if you're dying. Shoot. I wasn't made for that.
It's just astounding. It's astounding, man, that you got grown people sitting up there. And again, I don't endeavor to make it a political conversation, because again, this is affecting everybody. But I can assure you, in an election cycle year, the idea that everyone actually knows, who realize what's going on, we are in a recession as of now. We're almost a quarter basis point to going to zero, and from there negative interest rates. And on top of that, no one feels confident. No one feels confident in our first response value. And it turns out all these so-called healthcare professionals that have been pretty much shooing us along, lying, and telling us that everybody's going to be fine. And now they're telling you don't get tested unless you got some symptoms. But literally Friday, they said we'll have pop-up tents in Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, that if you want to get tested, drive through there. Anybody been out today by the chance by Walmart, CVS, Target, and seen one of them drive up pop-up tents yet?
No, I was out. I didn't see anything.
I'm getting ready to go out in a hot second here and go make a quick little trip to the post office. And I'm gonna try to swing by this little it's a Walmart, not too far. I'm gonna try to swing by and see if they got one up in this area. But
I was by like Dwayne Reed, Stop and Shop, CVS. Yeah, I didn't see nothing like that. They don't got that in New York. Only up in New Rochelle.
Target, CVS, any of that, none of that. It is unbelievable.
Like some type of listing where they're supposed to be the testing sites. I think they're just in New York, up in New Rochelle, because that's like the hardest hit community. That's like a Hasidim community or something up there.
It doesn't seem like, again, it's going to be any better or get any. We're not going to get any, true footing on this thing. Just my opinion. I don't think we're going to get any true footing on this thing in terms of really, seeing a real mechanized, front set up in place where we actually start seeing these things on the ground, where people say, okay, yeah, this is now we start to see stuff really happening. Because as of right now, you see none of that. None of that. And so I believe that's about another week or two away. A week and a half. I would say about a week and a half. So all of that week, and then you may see one or two pop up here and there. It's going to be slowly but surely though. So again, you got people that's infected right now. That's probably into their quarantine, maybe like day 8, day 9, right? Near day 10 for some people, and they haven't got probably a clue, in terms of what to really do, and then when they got tested themselves,
Right.
You just know where to really just pop up and say, hey, let me see if I'm good to go. People, nerves are ramping right now. People, you can tell the anxiety is picking up. Case in point, my Evo's on the way to the Pentagon today.
Oh, really?
She gets off. She goes into the Pentagon, right? She takes the train in the Pentagon. All right, so Pentagon Station. You guys familiar with DC Pentagon Station? Again, that's where it drops off everybody that works at pretty much the Pentagon. Joker gets stabbed up in the neck this morning at the Pentagon.
Just standing there?
Stabbed in the neck. A stab at the Pentagon. At Pentagon Station. Now we talking about people that get up on Pentagon Station, near that station, are people that work in that environment. These ain't these are somewhat well-to-do people.
What?
So either somebody went postal, somebody nerve bad, or something crazy, or maybe it could have been a person that just got off on that station and tried to get one of these people. I don't know. I don't know all the details quite yet, but again, Joker gets stabbed up. Man, look at here.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, that's what they need to do. Start going after some of these government, like the heads, not the average worker. Because they're the ones that know the truth, and but they're not going to tell the public because it'll get worse than what it is. I mean, you get the stores. There ain't no toilet paper. I back it again. Ain't no meat. And some of those stores, you're gonna be doing doing hoarding. I was like, dang. I was like, this is crazy. No cleaning products.
You went by the stores today? Get some items.
Yeah. Shelves are still empty. I think they're getting a shipment tomorrow.
That's what they're telling people. So yeah.
I'm not trying to go back out there. I mean, I could just stay inside and work out, practice, trade, and I got enough food. I mean, vegetables, definitely. A lot of those were gone. All the good ones. But so I went to a couple of stores just to get some cucumbers.
Yeah, people ain't just, feeling like, this is just such a mind. Because again, they painted the picture in the beginning like it was just such a, it was just gonna blow through and blow over. So people that's even, thinking that, oh, it's not that big of a deal. We got a lot of people that's saying that right now. They're all over YouTube and Facebook. Man, it ain't that big of a deal. I'm good. I ain't.
Right.
But the store is empty though, so you affected one way or the other. I don't care how tough you're trying to act. I don't care how much you're trying to front. If you ain't got your shelves stocked up, you still affected.
Thank you. If you can't go in there and get you some fish or something, like the fish department was cool, but anybody trying to get chicken or beef or turkey or any of that kind of stuff, them shelves were picked clean.
They were clean. I've seen so many pictures on Instagram and other social medias where again shelves just looking like, man, it's apocalypse.
Right. The shelves be empty. All the cleaning products, all the toilet paper, stuff like that.
And they close on lockdown, so if you ain't getting it now, you ain't gonna be able to get it. So all the jugglers playing tough right now. They're gonna be in a world of hurt. They can't.
I couldn't even get some lentils. I was like, where's the lentils? I was like, dang, no, there's no beans, nothing like that.
Crazy. It's crazy.
So,
that is
I mean,
crazy.
I guess, yeah, they can't really put everything out there because people will go nuts. So they already going crazy. How about stores? Because they just hoarding. It's just like,
Yeah, that's what most people that can really go in there do what they want. That's basically what they're doing. They're loading up deep free. Look at Tesla. Tesla's still dumping.
Yep.
Remember I told that 200-day moving average, that 440 comes down to 200 moving average or breaks below it. The energy that came out the market today, oh, it's going lower. It's going down to that low 400. So again, we saw lots of people buying the market up Friday until the close. Lots of people buying calls and buying the market to the upside. Where are they today? No, and this ain't that to make fun of it because you know we all try to look out for each other, but where are they today? Again, what makes a person feel confident? And I'm asking that question again, honestly. What makes a person feel confident about this market enough to be trying to buy calls or buy long positions to get excited about a rebound? I'm asking.
Definitely nothing, and definitely not nothing you want to hold, unless you're just trying to get like a short pop or a scalp. But I mean, if you're trying to hold, oh no, long, never, just not happening. The whole market, the S&P is down like how many points? 5,000? Something crazy.
Yeah, the Dow or the S&P is down from 339 basically to where we're at now 240. So we basically cut 100 points off the S&P 500 in about 3 weeks, if that, about 2.5 to be honest. But about 2.5, 3 weeks, we didn't cut 100 points off the S&P 500.
Oh, that's insane.
100. When we say 20, 30, 40, 50, 100.
Wow.
And you can hear the squeakiness in these analysts' voice. You could tell they shook when before they were just laughing and giggling and kicking. And I don't know why the market just keep melting up every day. I don't know why the market just keep melting up every day. And you can tell the bears just have no win now. They just have no. I don't know why they wasn't even want to short the market here because the Fed's got our back. The Fed's just gonna keep printing money. That's all. Again, but we got no earnings growth. We have no earnings growth at all. So the evaluation is a little stretched. But hey, what can you do? The market's telling you that it wants to go higher. Don't worry about hedging your portfolio. Stay long. Matter of fact, buy more at all-time highs. Buy more stocks.
Yeah, you could take a small position on that and let it just run down. Because that's what it's doing.
That was literally their talking point for literally two to 3 months. Well, I would say at least a solid 4 months. They were just really getting it. But this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy as
hell. They closed the schools in New York, so
yeah, they did.
New York, that's a big thing.
They finally pulled that trigger on that. What took them so long? You know, they knew it was only going to get worse. Rochelle is hot. Rochelle is just like, man, what that movie, Contagion, one of the movies, a little outbreak.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's up with Mitt Romney trying to give, the American people $1,000 a month?
You know they don't want to cut that bread, let that bread go over, Chris. They don't want to put that money in your hand. They don't want to put it in the actual person that really can need it. That can't necessarily have to can't really, wait on a paycheck to come at the end of the week when everybody panic and buying the stores out right now. So you got to wait to the end of the line to get lucky to get you some out of the store. They don't want to put that money in your hand. They don't want to look. These people are, bruh. And the fallback excuse is going to be they're doing the best they can. You know, people always say that stuff like that.
Somebody's mic, they need to mute themselves. Who's that, Mo?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Eva Mo, you there?
Eva
Monica, you there?
No.
I'm here. I was trying to get to my car. Sorry.
Oh, you fine. You there? You grind out.
What am I?
How you doing today? How you doing?
Man, I would have been doing great. I mean, I had Chris call me. I had somebody had posted in the chat about the company that's doing the patent. And my little guy, look, I had my little. This is funny. I had my little market watch up, right? So I was like, oh, I think okay, this looks like it's about to make a move. So I went on my stash, wrong move. Went on my stash. I bought the stock. The stock ran all the way from $21 to $27.50. Then I said, oh, it looked like it's about to go back down. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sell it back off, right? But then the stash was pending. I said, oh man. So I said, call Chris. I said, hey, I think I messed up. I know I said I should have went to Robinhood to do it. But anyways, I learned though. I did learn a lesson. So I learned what it means to, stocks to run and all that stuff, and what to do. I thought I was ready. I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna have me a testimony today.
Yeah, because
it was that more. What is it called? Moderna.
Moderna, I think.
Yeah, Moderna. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she went to buy it.
I learned something yesterday.
And Stash, the order is pending when you buy it on Stash, but with Robinhood it's automatic. So she was trying to make that little $6 jump.
Back no.
Oh shoot, my bad, Mo. Go ahead and tell them.
I had I had I had the market watch up, and so when I seen the announcement, I think it was one of the guys in the back chat had put it up, and I said, okay, this is what they be talking about. Let me go see what's going on. So I put it in the market watch, and I watched the stock start to go up, and I had I bought some, right? And then I was like, okay, I bought it in Stash instead of Robinhood or Webull. And and so it got all the way up from 21.60 to I think 20. It went 27.50, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it because I want to see how it all works. And so I'm gonna sell it. And so when I went to do it, I was like, oh damn, it's still pending. So I text Chris. I said, hey, call me. And so we were laughing about it because I was like, man, I should have did it in Robinhood or Webull.
Yeah, because you can't day trade it in Stash because it takes it takes a long time.
It takes 3 days. I was like, oh damn.
But interesting enough, now when you submit the order, it's supposed to kind of try to get you in where the price is at, but it's gonna end up being, I hate that about I can't even speculate and tell you where, but as of now, the stock is up. As you can see on my screen, it's up obviously we're about $78 on the day.
Right.
And it's still going up a little bit here after hours. So man, did you cancel the order or did you still let it submit it?
I just left it there. I was trying to learn it. I was messing around. And I was like, I think I could do it. So I was trying to put my little information I learned into practice, based off what y'all were teaching, and I was taking my time, and I thought it was a good opportunity and to me to learn to do it at least one time before, and I just like, oh darn it, but it's okay though because I learned a valuable lesson, and where it was at and looking. So I was able to find and look at some other stuff, and so it just kind of gave me some practice real fast.
And you may get saved. We'll see. The stock is still going up. I mean, it's going up after hours. I don't know
what right there. Is that it right there?
Yeah, this is it. This is Murray. I know we talked about this several times. There's been a play on the coronavirus itself. Obviously,
yeah. See, at that 11, I think it was like 11:45 or 11:30 when it went up. Oh, it didn't went way up. It went further than that.
Yeah.
It's up to what, 28.85?
Yeah, 28.89 now.
Yeah, see, I was watching all of it until like that 11 o'clock. It was up 27. Yeah, somewhere over there. Yeah, right there, up in that area. That's when I was right there. And that's what I was watching. So I called myself doing my little monitoring and studying, right? I still look like African Emporium. I had 2 monitors up. I had my phone. I thought I was doing something, and I was showing one of my friends. I was just trying to, teach him a couple things, and he was definitely much faster than me with the mat. But I was just showing him some stuff, and because they was like, you ain't panicking, man. I ain't panicking. I learned some stuff. I'm about to watch these things right here.
Now, I wish you would hit us up. Don't hesitate. If you ever in that position, hit us up. If one of us can, can help or whoever. Again, it's a village. So I know you still, you learning, and it's good because we want to make sure you in the best position ever. That you could be if you're gonna do it. From that perspective. Now, again, I like that though. That's taking initiative, and so understanding those moving averages. Where to get in at during certain times of. A stock is being separated from the moving average and extended. Do you wait, for it to come back down a little bit and trend near? Then all the things come into practice, but we're gonna keep working on that. And again, now you can't day trade on stands. We ain't gonna start it anymore. For the day trade on stand, but you been to bet the whole house on it. Every way 2 days.
I was trying, and listen, I was trying. I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be good right here. I'm about to have a nice little testimony. Then I was like, oh man. But then I'm cheap, so I ain't do too much. I just was, I was able to comprehend and then apply. And so I was excited. So now I can move on to some more information in my mind because I understand what to do now. So yeah, it was funny. I thought I'd make y'all laugh. I can't hit Chris up. I was like, call me. He's like, yeah. So I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
That more than went all in on Minerva. So I'm gonna get this day.
Get me somebody. I was like, I'm gonna make a couple bucks a day. Yeah, because everybody else is just like they over there worried about buying meat from the grocery store. Shit, I was like, I'm gonna be eating my crackers and peanut butter, but I'm about to make some dollars somewhere.
Right, you make some of that money, that peanut butter money, right? That's exactly how you look at it, though. I mean, it was a great run on the day. Again, still in a good position, to get some nice bounces tomorrow. Again, I can pretty much say that we may get a small bounce tomorrow, possibly. That depends on what any other, any kind of news that may come out tomorrow. And I'm saying as far as the overall market. And unfortunately, in the case of mRNA, this is the hedge against it. The market at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's against it. So if it speeds up a little bit tomorrow, it may pull down. It may come down a little bit. But again, the market is wild right now. It's hard to even predict like this, right? Because you're talking about an official company. This is an official company that's actually trying to push forward to get a vaccine in play, right? So you still may be protected, but we'll see how it works out. And again, the market right now after we have to come off, pull back up a little right now. I'm showing like a little bear case right now. After hours, so crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah. That was my laugh for the day. And then I sit up here listening to President, them at that conference. And I just like listening to him. And I was like, oh man, we don't know what the heck. You know what? Y'all make some bad. Hey, that's why they say back in the day, everybody who need to be president should have gone to the military first. Because oh my goodness.
Right. Right. He has no man. Oh, it sounds like it's like looking at a robot.
It's horrible, man.
It's like it's still a robot explaining it.
And then you guys look puppet next to him, the Vice. I'm like, come on, man. Anyways, man,
right now. Look, we got a runner, a late day runner. 100% runner after hours right now. Again, it's a dirty cheap penny stock. It moved from 6 cents up to 15 cents after hours. EST, Global Eagle Entertainment. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna have to go see what they're about.
Probably moving the product.
Let me see.
Biologic.
If I can pull it up here. 1 second.
You say it's a container?
It's no, that's the name of the company. Can y'all see my screen? My back box scanner.
Yeah.
ENT Global.
Right, all right, there you go. Oh yeah, I got my scanner up too, so we own it.
I think I seen that.
Yeah, it just took off. It traded down like 6 cents right at the bell, and then from there it just ramped up. It's now up to 15 cents, up based about 105% after hours here. only light volume though for a stock this cheap. So I don't know what that's about. And another 15-cent stock, the GASL, up 14.5%, but it's 100% move after hour. And this stock here, somebody might have known that, or they just manipulated it. So definitely be careful. But I just saw it pop up, so I had to say something on it. Just wondering what's going on with that. But again, this market is very crazy. But I mean, it's just hard. Even you have to really put forth some really good energy to map some of these plays out because of the fact that this market is so volatile. And moments like this, you have to be really cautious, right, in terms of your entry, right? And if you coming in with bigger shares than you normally would, when the markets kind of have a little bit more stability, right now is not the time to do that. You know, you have to have your risk, your risk versus reward ratio is pretty much, down to a science, and definitely have those stop losses ready to rock. Now again, Moderna right now is rocking after hours here. That mRNA, Moderna, excuse me, it's up now above 29. So it is squeezing after hours still. So, hopefully it continues to go higher here, and hopefully by the time they fill your trade, Eva, Monica, hope they filled you at, roughly about 25, 26 or wherever. I don't know what time you actually try to submit the trade, but I hope you definitely got filled at around that price, because you're going to get a nice little $4 or $5 per share, prize if in terms if it works out, if it holds up in that point over these next 2-3 days. Because as you guys can see here, it is squeezing after hours, squeezing higher here. Again, put up over $3 after hours alone. So really good move in that stock as of now. So again, the market's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I just look at the market like, man, all this potential money, all this potential money. If you just be patient enough to find that right place, that right sweet spot in the market, which seems to be hard to do in some cases, but if you can find it, you can definitely benefit. I mean, this stock is squeezing up nicely after hours, Monica, you might be good to go. You might be good to go. It is definitely running after. So just keep your eyes on it, monitor it. I'm sure you are at this point. you ain't got no choice. You got your funds impending over there.
Oh, it's not a lot. It was just enough. I was just practicing. I thought I was.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying, either way,
Yeah.
No, it's still good. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah.
Put it to flight. So
I wasn't scared to do it, so that's why I was excited, because I wasn't scared to do it, and I was just like, okay, once you start learning, you go ahead and make your best effort, and you take time, and I don't lose nothing the less I want to. So I say, well, you can't go to the restaurants, might as well spend my money in the stocks today.
put it towards this thing already over $30. It's over $30 right now. It's over 30. So it's already up like $4 after hours alone. It didn't gain $4 after hours. So it is moving.
Yeah. Oh, after hours. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Doing a little something.
Can you see my screen?
No, I can see it, but I started driving, so I'm talking to you on my Bluetooth. Yeah.
That's well. We need to be here now. You get ready to play.
I'm here. Look. All right, look. I'm headed to the gym to go to the steam room and the sauna so I can burn off whatever I touch there.
There you go. All right, so get rid of that Rona. You got that Rona detox.
Y'all crazy.
Look at that stock take off.
Yeah, the hot Rona. Hey,
yeah.
You had me saying Rona all day.
Yeah, after my Rona serious right now. Look at that. I mean, that thing is ticking off, guys. I'm sure y'all see it though, but that stock is ticking off. Let me pull up. Y'all see this?
What's giving this ENT stock so much dang? Why it's running like that?
Which one over?
The one you was just looking at, ENT stock.
Oh, the ENT. The something Eagle Entertainment. Let's see if we can pull up some news on it. Might be some news on it. Man, this stock is tearing up to the upside. It's up $31 right now. It's up to $31, $31.40, $31.40, $31.40. It's squeezing right now after hours. Already up like $5 and change.
You're trying to make everybody jump in.
It's squeezing too. Look at it. It's squeezing shorts up there. You see how it's kind of making that erratic move right there? like that, that means shorts panicking a little bit, you know. So they're gonna try to shorten it too. They shorten it to that pop up at the top. I'm sure they are. So that's gonna be a nice little one to watch tomorrow. We'll see if it's gonna continue going higher. But it's definitely turning it up to the upside here. Look at this stock move. You all right, Mo? You might be all right now. You might be all right.
She in there long?
Yeah, she bought the shares on Stash though. You know, Stash make you wait 2 or 3 days before it fill you on.
Oh no!
Day traded on Robinhood. Well, she day traded on Robinhood or Webull, but she went to Stash instead. You know, Stash make you wait.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, she would have been. She caught that thing in Robinhood though. She would have been up nicely right now. You'd have been up like about $4 or $5 a share. Man, God dog it. It's all right though. We'll see how it plays out. Hope everything works out, you know. So let's see this what's this stock? ENT, little dirty little penny stock. Global Eagle Entertainment, that's what it is. So let's see if there's any kind of news out on anything here. I don't know what's the why it's running. Shucks. I'm gonna have to go see if there's any news on the actual. I mean, it went down. It was up in the beginning of the day. Actually, it was already up like 17 cents. So it was up on the day, and then it sold off, and now it's right back up to where it came from. So apparently, just a lot of retracement when shorts was shorting it to that pop probably, and it wrote it down to like 6-something cents, and now again it's squeezing back up now. So, man, it might be worth watching. It might be worth watching. You know, tomorrow, I don't know if what's the play on it. You know, if it's why it's it's popping right now. Again, we could definitely go find out if there's any news on it. But definitely want to keep your eye on. I mean, think about throwing a couple of pennies on it. I don't advocate these little types like this because they're dirty. They just jump out of nowhere and start running. But with the right understanding what's going on with it, if it's in that play, that field of play, it could be worth watching, if nothing else. All right. So again, global. Let's see if there's any. Global Entertainment is up today. Here's why Global Entertainment is up today. Why is it up today? It's up because of what? The stock closed at a session of 14 Buva. So 72 million float on it. Decent. So it was obviously it might have been oversold at some point, but there's no direct. I don't think any kind of direct news for it. So it's more of a technical breakout. And so probably some people pumping it too. Who knows? More than likely. But either way, it's definitely pumping here after hours. Well, it pumped after hours after being up on the day, obviously pulling back. So I don't see anything definitive on it. But either way, is it still up? Yeah, it's still hanging up there. So it basically retraced back to where it was early in the day. To a degree, because it hit a high around about 17, 18. It opened up around 14, so it basically got basically back over where its opening price was. So we'll keep our eyes on it. But yeah, that's it. So again, it's just crazy. It's crazy out there. Crazy. We're trying to do what we can. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I know you get a chance to say what's up to everybody in the back chat. What's going on, everybody? Over Zane, Brother Mathis, what's going on, family? Brother Rozzy Roz, what's going on, family? Jalea, what's going up, family? What's going on over Rob Richstein? What's going on, family? Over Eddie, what's up, family? Who else we got in the house? Family Love Myfro, what's going on, family? Over Brandon, what's going on, family? My brother Sean John, what's going on, family? Brother Dave B, what's up, family? Peace, power, profit to you all. If you guys are still hanging around and being able to catch me saying something, I know you guys probably be in and out, but what's going on, everybody? Again, just kind of doing our little thing here in the back, and this thing coming right back down. Man, this is why this market is nutty. They rolled that pop up and they taking profit. You can't trust this market. It's hard to trust this market. It's coming right back down. It may rebound and go, and, and get some footing. Some buyers may come in. Let me see where we at in terms of the because we just dropped below the 28 moving average. The VWAP is a long way away though, so we ain't even looking at the VWAP. Let's see where the major levels of support. You got some support coming up here around the $28 level here, right? A little bit of support there. Still up on after hours, from where it closed at though. So it closed right around about $26 some change. So it's up roughly about $2 and change after hours, after being up near 5 in this mRNA. Again, you got Tesla's up again roughly about let's say $14, $15 after hours, which it makes big moves like that anyway. So ain't nothing to be alarmed with Tesla doing that. Apple's up roughly about $4 after hours from its closing price. Boeing kind of same way, closed around about 128 and up about 131 after hours, roughly about $2 or $3 on Boeing after hours. All right, so again, we do have weakness in the S&P 500 here after hours. It's still showing like a bear pennant. If you look at the chart on SPY, definitely showing weakness still in terms of closing out the actual intraday session. Going to the futures market, we may have more red going into the futures market here. I don't see any true reason why it would not still bleed out a little bit potentially unless they come. I mean, because they've tried everything they can
It's a tough point right now, but to the best of the ability
All right, I think I'm back.
of SBA, they can certainly help with these bailouts.
I'm running hot over here, running hot.
We could be looking at. I mean,
You guys hear me?
workers, as you know, that with less than 500
I
people,
think
that makes
I'm
up
back.
half of the private sector workforce in this country. How bad could it get?
All right, let me cut that down over there. Can you guys hear me in the back chat on YouTube? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let's see here. Okay, good. Thank you, Obi. Yeah, I was about to type it in there just in case. Yeah, sorry about that. Google Chrome on fire right now. I got all these windows open too. Definitely my fault on that. So it's definitely cycling out a little bit here, but we're trying to over here digging in Trump behind too. So they're like, no, you need to talk about my president. You're coming after me. All right, but yeah, so again, just kind of putting in the context again, just kind of getting prepared for tomorrow. I do still have a couple of errands to run. I actually delayed them because I was trying to hurry up and do some other stuff too, phone wise. So I'm gonna take care of that real quick, and so hopefully I get a chance. I may just do another live stream later on this evening as a preparatory session where we can try to look at some stocks that may be worth trading tomorrow. We do have a couple of earning plays. Again, even earning plays right now just pretty much just ratchet, because even if they're stocks coming in pretty much decent in terms of numbers, they get sold into. And the ones that do get a pop, right? It happens after hours, but when the intraday market opens up, they sell off, right? Because again, if the headwind energies goes through the tailwind energies to the back of the market to the downside, then they're just pretty much trading in correlation to the SPY, going down. So it's really no safe place to even be, hiding out in the market. So it's just making for a very, very, you have to be like, sharpshooter right now, and trying to find these stocks that are, definitely, can provide you a nice little play. And even more so, even for short sellers, because it's easy to say, okay, everything's going to keep going down every day. But at some point, if you're kind of getting in at some of these points where these things are extended to the downside, separating far from their moving averages, at some point, again, they are going to bounce. So the swing trades are becoming even, unless you insulated in that trade, meaning you're in at a point where you're really at a good average, you have to be very cautious to even open up new short positions. And the options market it's just ugly. The premiums are so expensive. They're super expensive now. Everything, even dirt cheap raggedy stocks are higher now in the options market when before, you've been paying like pennies on the dollar, literally. It seems, in
I was
cases.
just looking at it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting ugly. So we are in a position now where we have to be very, confident in our trades that we're going to take, especially if you're still even short and if you're getting in at these points. Because at some point they have to bounce round out and give you another, pretty much another lower high if you think about where it came from. Hit some nice resistance there, show that, that weakness or that fatigue at those points, and then you can short into that, those new tops. Right, but again, you have to be definitely careful as of now, because again, you can try to maybe get in a little too premature on some of these lows. Right. So again, but that's what I'm looking to do that possibly. I hope I get a chance to come back on, maybe around about 7, 8, maybe hopefully, and
I'll
we
be
can
here.
Oh yeah, sister at the house, trying to hold it down. All right.
Hold it down.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Working out, trading, playing
Right.
practice.
What's going on, Brother Eddie? I see you just popped on, Brother Eddie. What's going on, family? Hit your mic.
Muted.
Mic's still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. How's everybody doing?
All is well.
Good.
How's it going?
Great.
Yeah. So, was you in the market today, or you just you do anything in the market?
Yeah, Yeah, I actually put a few pennies on that J Nugget, JNUG.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. Well, I mean, big run on J Nug today. Some of you guys were probably watching it too, in terms of, again, utilizing, the gold market as a hedge. Well, the junior miners today definitely picked up. And they showed some strength and some legs for a change, as opposed to just selling off along with all, overall equity market. So Nugget, J Nug, and a few other junior miners definitely gave you some great returns. So I'm pretty sure you excited about that trade if you got in, especially in the lows at the beginning of the market. Where'd you get in at?
Yeah, I got in right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning? Okay, yeah, so you were already on top of it.
It was
Nice
like
move.
4 something.
Yeah. Very nice trade. Yeah, so I mean, good way to read the market, especially after you're watching the gold market over the future market last night, shows that level of strength. After the futures were obviously hit that limit down perspective and halted for the rest of the night, but it definitely didn't stop gold from running. So Jayna again opened up today during the pre-market and also definitely intraday session, and just went bananas, right? It just went bonkers. It hit a high around about near $9 at some point. It was up in there $9, wasn't it? Like 8.94, 8.95, somewhere around there on the high of the day. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up here if I could real quick before I make a quick little move here. Show you guys what J-Nug did. Again, it's at a point where it still can potentially even go higher. That's what's great about that stock, because again, coming from off a point where it was kind of highly oversold, even though gold was trading somewhat in correlation to the S&P 500, going down with it when it shouldn't have. It should have been rocking out to the upside. But again, this market is very nutty right now because again, there's no really true flight to safety. In some cases, when people are just trying to find these different hedges, everybody would just feel like, man, I'm gonna take my money out of all assets, and that's what they were doing. I see my brother Jared Pollard. You say you been riding TLT all? Yeah, see, nice trade. TLT popping today. All right, so again, you're looking at JNUG here on the daily here. Let's scroll out to the daily here a little bit so you can see the entire day. Matter of fact, let's change to the 5-minute chart so we can get a bit more clarity into it. And so again, opening up at the beginning here where Eddie took the trade. You see right here, roughly around about 9:30, when it kind of clips that area there. He was in the money out the gate. Oh, come on, dang. He was in the money out the gate.
Nice trade.
Yeah, very nice trade. Again, so it crossed over the 20-day moving average, crossed over VWAP there, and roughly around about this point right here. Let me see, right about right here. So about $4.26, $4.30, $4.40 crossed over. The closing price of Friday at $4.47. After that, it was lights out. That thing rolled that VWAP like a boss. Came back down close to it here. Didn't touch it actually. Got new buyers that came in. As you can see right, the volume right here, literally showing you right here. Volume came back in after that nice little pullback here. Let the RSI kind of cool down just a little bit because it still stayed pretty high. But either way, the buyers came in like gangbusters. They're like, no, we're not playing around today. And it respected that 20-day moving average pretty much throughout the rest of the intraday session. Small little dip below it here, roughly around about 1341. Obviously at that time frame, basically 341. It's not 341, but 140 at that point. A nice little pullback, but held a new higher low based on the day. You look at the pivots on it here. Higher low. You got a higher low there, a higher low here. You got a higher low here when it came out and tested here around about 650. And then again, it's just like gangbusters again. Volume came in a little bit there. It kind of catapulted it back up above the 20-day moving average here. And after that, it's just been lights out and just held it pretty much throughout the entire day. Man, this was a beautiful trade. And I was thinking about trading it at some point earlier when I looked at it. I think I posted it to everybody earlier. I think I posted it on my my Facebook page, JNUG. I think at that time it was around like $7 and change. I had been watching it around $6 and change. But I mean, again, here after hours, it's just marching higher. Definitely getting ready to break $9 here, which was a major resistance on the daily, the intraday session, the resistance point. So it definitely breaks above this $9 handle. Man, look out. You might be on your way to $10. And there we go. We just broke above it. We just broke above $9 here on JNUG after hours, up $9.10 after hours here in the after hour market. Are you still in that trade, Eddie, or did you just take the profits, live to fight another day.
Yeah, I just took it for the day. I just wanted to get in and get out. That's it.
Again, great trade here. Again, I mean, it's definitely squeezing up here after hours, going higher here. You know, so again, it may offer up a great trade tomorrow, depending on how the S&P 500 prints tomorrow during the futures, obviously the futures market and also pre-market. If there's any kind of, you know, what they call bounce money out there, because that's what it's going to take to turn the S&P 500.
Hold on, I take that back. I sold half of them. Oh, my bad. I sold half of them.
You sold half of the your position?
Yeah.
Nice. So you
At the
still
end of the day.
in?
Yeah, I'm still in.
Okay. You still got some shares? Okay. Well, right now, again, as we're talking again, as you can see here, you up $9.50 at this point. So you basically doubled your investment. Because if you got anywhere around $4 level, you roughly didn't double that position at this point. You definitely didn't double that position here, going forward. And again, like I said, we squeeze over 9, we can easily break out, right? Well, guess where we're at now? At $9.80 a share, somewhere around there. So you done picked up a quick little hot little dollar after hours on your position, and it's still looking pretty tasty here. Especially again, cracks that 10, you really can get some more action going for yourself. So great trade, man. Kudos to you, man, for taking that trade.
Yeah, my friend told me about it yesterday. I mean, Friday on that trade that I made Friday, right? And when I looked up that JUNG, I looked right beside him, and it was JDST, and it was like it was up like 40-some points on Thursday night. And then I noticed that night that it went down to like 12 that night. So I went ahead and made a purchase that morning.
Right, nice read on that too. Because again, we talked about gold yesterday actually too, on our Dagger Squad channel, and you know, again, hedging the market and looking at gold pop up yesterday a little bit during the futures market. So definitely gold was in play today. You know, at all intents and purposes, of people that was already waiting for it out the gate, which you were obviously too, which was awesome, and we're able to capture that trade. You know, again, about 100% run on the day if you got in anywhere in the $4 region. In this trade, you know, so I mean, it could have been a better move too. Just looking at the chart, that's a beautiful chart. That is a beautiful chart, and that's what you want to look for on the intraday session, where a chart that can respect its moving averages to a degree. You got steady, good volume throughout the day. It held pretty well on all levels of support. It printed higher lows throughout the entire day without any kind of major flash crashing. So I mean, just a beautiful trade. You know, so then we'll see how it kind of responds tomorrow after we watch the futures market open up here roughly around about 6 o'clock. You know, in terms of seeing how, you know, those traders are coming in that trading futures respond to.
Pulling back.
Yeah, a little pullback, you know, because it got extended. You know, that parabolic straight up move. Anytime you ever start to, you know, parabolic up about 70 to 80 cents, you know, I think that's the power. Understanding how to read that too, even as a short seller. So instantly when I saw that straight line up that high, that linear, you know, again, you top short, that's when you go top tick that thing. You go top tick short at around about 980, you know, squeeze about 70 cents, you know, 30, 40, 60 cent, you know, make a share to get right on up out of there quickly. You know, take what you can and see if it's going to retrace any of that. So definitely that was an easy short there too if you was able to catch that after hours. I mean, nice little linear move, you know, off a real good game.
Railroad tracks.
You seen it, right? Straight onto my straight CSX, right? So being on railroad or the Monopoly board game. Track. You know, so great trade in that. So kudos to you, Eddie. And hopefully tomorrow you get some more extension on it.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Just like I said, I couldn't have done it without, you know, listening to you and, you know, the conversation that goes on the channel and everything. I couldn't have done it without that.
Man, we're a team, man. You know how it is. All honor go to the ancestors and, you know, all that village mentality, because that's what it takes, I guess, you know, in terms of, you know, not you know, putting it in the context where, you know, you ain't done the work, but, you know, it takes a village. It really takes people to really, you know, put some ideas together sometimes. And that's how it should be in a lot of ways too, because in the market, in terms of the market, it's great to have, you know, other sets of eyes and other sets of ears, you know, to kind of really, you know, help us make some good decisions, you know. So, you know, again, you did the work though. So, I mean, all power go to you. Hopefully tomorrow you wake up tomorrow, that thing be up right about 11, $10, $50, $11. And the rest of them shares keep banging.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Right?
It'd be nice.
Now it was oversold. So it came from a place of being oversold. So this is great. Because look at the move here. If you go back to the chart here, you see right here, back on the 11th, again, it got bled, again, because everything was dumping. So it wasn't like, it was just an anomaly. People just singling that gold. The entire market got bled. So it came down from already like $50 a share, hit 23, pivoted sideways and broke lower, obviously. Came to a point around about 9:15, 9:16, right? Trended sideways a little bit, kind of bear flag to be exact. As you can see it right here, kind of rolled it down and bottomed out. I mean, it couldn't have got no, obviously, because when it bottomed out around about $3.50. It hit that point maybe about 3 or 4 times, if not more. You got it, hitting it here. You got it hitting it obviously at this point here, just kind of in a straight line. And then the volume came in like gangbusters. Look at that volume right here. See, that's what you want to look for. When that came in, obviously it came in today, obviously, but still, when you had a drought like this here, where you had no significant volume in this point here, this gap here, and then people obviously started saying, well, you know what, now that we know that there's craziness going on, in the White House in terms of this whole coronavirus mess, and people feel like, we ain't where we need to be from a place of being secure, people went back to gold as they should have been, in my opinion, literally a week ago. But again, it was just nobody was safe. I mean, y'all saw what happened to Bitcoin and crypto. Crypto got beat up too. Like Mike Tyson style beat up. Body blow, uppercut. So now you do have, again, gold now being, the optimum hedge value, like it has always been in years, historical value to the equity market selling off. And so these junior miners now may be in a position now when they're getting ready to probably start rocking back out to the upside. So I'm not gonna say it's gonna go back to $50 in the next week, but stranger things have happened. Who knows? It possibly still can. I mean, that's a lot of retracement coming from where it came from. So I'm pretty sure there's some bag holders still sitting up there around that $10 level and $12, $11 level, and then obviously back up to the $20 level. I'm pretty sure, and then sell that entire position. So definitely, I would say, as long as you're, everybody has their own game plan, but if you still got half your position still in this trade, I would definitely, monitor it very closely, and I wouldn't be too quick to liquidate the entire position if you just feel like you don't have to. As long as it don't break down some major support, especially would be this line right here in the sand. That's a strong level of support around at 750, somewhere around about 750. So if it don't break around like 750, you could have yours maybe around like 8, maybe capture more profit. I would stay in this trade. Me personally, that's just my opinion. Obviously, that's my opinion. But it's showing some great resilient, strength after it sold off so much and rounded this bottom out. Because that's basically what you got here around the bottom. Fry pan bottom, cup and handle. That's basically our textbook cup and handle. Rounded out very nicely there. There's your handle here, which is extended. It broke out now. And now you got this, this nice little, upward trajectory to the upside here at this point. All right. So again, awesome saying that, baby. So Jay Crew, you say you you say you hit USO up as well. The 17th July 3rd call seems to be working at 14.5. Well up from point. Oh man, nice. I don't know if you took that trade, but great trade on USO as well. Some guys may be familiar with USO. It's definitely that's an oil play. We know the oil market is obviously still in kind of volatility in the volatility box at this point because of what's happening with the overall Russia and Saudi Arabia now. So the fact that they're trying to get a handle on oil prices from going in the lower in terms of the barrel prices, so they can kind of start to put some more legs underneath there, prop it up, because if it goes down any more than where it's at, that can spell big red flag for overall equity markets too. Oil does carry a great level of weight in terms of the S&P 500, right? Because again, the barrel price is that cheap, then nobody really making money off of it, right? Just to be honest. So it's a kind of gift and a curse. It's a good thing for us because guess what? We get cheaper gas prices, but again, if you can't really make no margin off your oil price, then barrels of oil, then it's just dead. It's a dead investment. 1 second, guys. I got a phone call. I'm gonna put my phone my mic on mute real quick here. 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, guys. Sorry about that. So yeah, so let me make my quick little move real quick, guys, and I'm gonna see if I can come back on live maybe around about 7, 8, somewhere around there maybe. If you guys still hanging out, maybe ain't got nothing really going on, you want to jump on, we'll let you guys again take commando, man. Jump on here, share your screens, share some trade ideas. Maybe we can go over some moving averages, some fundamentals. Maybe we can start again game planning for tomorrow in the market, you know, and again let you guys, you know, definitely be able to share a little bit of your expertise and what you may see that others may can build from. That's what is again. That's what it's all about. Being able to utilize all this, you know, this think tank and power that we do have at our disposal. So I'm definitely excited again to see us making money. Right, just hearing everybody have a success story at some point throughout the day, and not necessarily major in terms of losses. That's when you know everybody walk way off the battlefield, you know, the way they're supposed to, all arms and legs intact and bullets still in the rifle. So that's a good thing to know that. So I'm excited again in terms of where we may, you know, take this thing until tomorrow. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to end this live for now, and hopefully I'll jump back on a little later. I will send out, you know, the link when I do, you know, start it, you know, if everything goes well this evening for me. I still got to make sure, you know, my little household already, you know, get home safe and everything is solid with them. But you know, after that, if everything's fine, then I will be jumping back on so we can build a little bit about this, you know, for the market for us tomorrow. And anything that may come out for breaking news, we want to be all on top of it so we can share with others as well. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna roll out. Eva Drummett, thank you for coming on, sisters. Always, thank you. Over Chris, thank you for coming on, bro. Everybody in the back chat, thank y'all for jumping on as well. We appreciate you guys. Any last words, over Chris, real quick? Eva Drummett.
Just stay connected, y'all. Everything is for our taking.
Thanks. Eva Drummett, you there? In the last words, sis? She might be a little busy right now too. Yeah, she's probably busy. All right, but that's it, guys. So yeah, so I look forward to again going live here maybe in the next couple hours or so. So I'll let you guys know for all the notification when we do. Thank you for stopping by. Peace, Power, and Profit. Uncle Johnson Nev. Again, I'm Bantu. I am because we are a village. Let's get this money together. Right? Let's get this money together. All right, guys. See y'all in a few.
Peace.
Peace, family. Peace, everyone.